Hello and welcome back to another edition of Layback with Betfair. I'm happy to say again that the boys were on fire last week. Clancy's not here, but Tom's back and he was on fire the previous week. I'm going to go through some of their stats, but Tom, mate, it's good to see you again. Not that I don't see you every day in the office.
No, you're probably sick of me. Great to be here. You're going all right. You guys did well last week, so welcome to the Hamburger Club, you two, Liam and Trent. So good to see you, Trent.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? Finally, the constant abuse and ribbing can stop from Tommy, who's sitting on his high horse. We've still got one to catch up on him, to be fair. But
I'm 2 from 2.
You've
You've had plenty of cracks too.
There we go, but good to finally get one on the board.
Well, 5 Group 1s in New South Wales last week, 1 in Victoria, and we said that's the day where champions are made, and you were certainly a champion. You had 10 bets, back 4 winners. And we're very confident about your best bet, which is broadsiding. You're back on the broadsiding train. Clancy had 3 winners last week. And Tom, you have been in very good form as well. Obviously missed the last couple of weeks, but from 9 bets, your last 9 bets, you've had 5 winners. Not bad from you. So
Thank you.
Looking forward to jumping into New South Wales and talking about your Rosehill track concerns, which have gone viral over the last week.
I want to ask Trent, you're very confident on broadsiding. Were you less confident when obviously found 1-1, which J-Mac tends to do, but not on the fence? Were you concerned at any point?
Oh, not really. Like you said, he slotted in the 1-1 after looking a little bit hairy early, and that's just what J-Mac seems to do and what broadsiding seems to do. So yeah, I was pretty confident when Swift Falcon loomed up because I don't think he runs 2,000. And then,
you don't think he's never beaten broadside?
Yeah, and they've never beaten him. So there's people wanting to turn the tables on him, but he's 3-zip against all those horses. So it's just kind of become an easy bet. And he drifted out a fair bit on Betfair as well. So we took the bigger price.
Well, we'll get stuck into all the racing soon, but as we always do, we need to discuss our frustrations on the lay bin. Straight to you, Trent. What are you putting in the lay bin this week?
Yeah, completely off topic, but Shepherd avocados are back in season. They are.
What is with lay-bins and avocados? Footy put this in last, not different type. I really put Haas avocados in the lay bin.
Well, Footy's completely wrong then. I don't know what he's talking about. There's no one that prefers a Shepherd to a Haas. They're back in season. They're horrible. You can't mash them up. Put them in the bin. Rock hard. Yeah, they're horrible.
Honestly, one of the most frustrating things on it is when you buy an avocado and it's a little bit firm, but they just don't ripen. No. And you try cut it in half 5 days later, it's like a cement brick.
Hitting the hard topics.
Could do some damage. Tom, you got something for the lay bin?
I've been pretty quiet in the lay bin front. So I put this on in the lay bin on Sunday on SEN actually in our radio show, but I went to Sydney. That's why I couldn't make the show last week, and saw a client, and then the client dropped me off at my hotel room. I checked in, went upstairs, went to the bathroom, and couldn't work out how to flush the toilet for about 10 minutes. And there was
Sorry, I wasn't ready for that.
No.
That's very strange.
Thanks for tuning into radio. So I couldn't work out how to flush. There was a remote, and I kept there was about 18 buttons on this remote. So remotes for toilets get in the lay bin. No one wants to touch a bloody remote for a toilet. But then I was hitting the flush button and it wasn't flushing, and I didn't realise that I hadn't put my card into the slot to turn the power on.
Oh,
so over 10 minutes I'm sitting up, this is cooked. Like I'm going to have to call someone, and then finally put the thing, ended up working.
What actually happened, Tom? You probably left something floating there.
No, but that's
for a night or two.
So remotes for toilets, get in the lay bin.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't know that existed. Sorry, I didn't hear that one on Sunday. That is a massive lay bin. I do agree. I've got one. I wonder what you guys think. I'm so sick to death. We're at round 2. The knee-jerk reactions that are coming out of AFL and AFL media are just getting on my nerves so much. Like I'm a beloved Carlton supporter. Yeah. I do love the Blues, but we're talking about
Sack Voss,
like all this stuff. Honestly, get in the lay bin. Like I just want to make a reminder to all these pundits that when you take the majority opinion, a lot of the time you're wrong. I mean, if I want to give an example, remember last year where people were talking about Essendon, they're going to make the finals. They're going to make the finals. They're going to win the premiership, top 4. Some pundits are saying that they missed the 8 by a country mile in the end. So same thing with Hawthorn. They lost,
the first 5
games. Brisbane were in horrible form at the start of the season. Yep. They wanted to sack Fagan. They went on to win the premiership. Calm your farm, relax. let's talk solutions, not problems, and move on.
Speaking like a Carlton supporter.
Yeah, true. I really like David. David King did some great analysis about, Carlton being one handball away from opening teams up, and I'd rather be worse at the start of the season and peak at the right time than be flying early.
So you're speaking to a couple of Crows fans here who have won their first 2 games by 10 goals apiece. So just a slight clip on the way through. But
Crom doing pretty well, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not wearing your Crows.
Crows
I should have actually. Yeah.
If we win the flag, we'd definitely be doing the show.
Fair enough.
In the kit.
You both won't be invited on the show.
Correct. It'll be you by yourself.
All right, let's go to the Australian Cup meeting at Flemington. A really, really good race. We were just talking about off camera that delaying the Australian Cup and putting the All-Star Mile before that has increased the quality of the race. I completely agree. Last year's race was fantastic. It was obviously won by Cascadian. Before we go into the Australian Cup and some of the undercard, let's talk about the track conditions. Good for circuit true and tired. It's going to be 25 degrees on Saturday. Any comments on the track, Trent? Maybe I'll go to you. How do you think the track will play?
Oh, that'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be perfect. Flemington and a good track, and
as per Flemington,
it'll be perfectly fine. In the straight, maybe you want to get a little bit to the outside, but it'll be completely fair. And the same probably can't be said for Sydney.
Yep. Well, we'll get to that. While whenever someone says Sydney and tracks there, I can see Tom's face go a little bit redder. All right, let's talk about the Whirlpool Sprint Classic over 1,100 meters. I'm going to go straight to you, Trent, just to talk about the speed map. Obviously, Alabama Lass is probably the one, and with Vestas to bring strong form into the race. But in terms of the speed, how do you think they'll race?
Yeah, the Alabama Lass, the filly over from New Zealand, does have a bit of speed. She's led at her past couple. Gallant Sun out wide has got a bit of speed. Daggers next to it as well has a bit of speed. So I don't know if they're going to go too quickly. There's a big field, so there's potential for them to run along a little bit. But I think, in terms of the speed map, it shouldn't be too quick, and it should set up nicely for those ones that are kind of in the front half of the field.
Perfect. Well, keep going. Keep the momentum going. How are you playing this race?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on Alabama Lass, the New Zealand filly. She's had a good bit of support since markets opened. She opened around $3. She comes over here with a Racing and Sports rating of 114, which is around 2 lengths better than anything in this field has produced, and a couple of these are out of form as well. So 2 starts back, Group 1, she was just edged out by a horse called Crescetti, who's going to the Quokka in Perth in a few weeks' time. Then turned the tables on that horse last start at Group 3 level, won by 5 lengths on a soft track, got the lead there and was dominant. So I think she's a pretty good filly, and she comes up against the B and C graders here, and is really well suited at the set weight. So yeah, we've got a fair bit higher than these, especially at this weight scale. And if she brings her form from New Zealand, I think she's close to a 215, 220 chance. So that price has come in a little bit. I will want to see what the Betfair market does on the day, whether we do get a little bit bigger, but anything 250 and above, I'm happy to have a good bet.
Yeah, great analysis, Trent. And, Tom, I'll throw to you now, but I've always said I'm always concerned about shorter price horses in these big fields, but when they're on pace and make their own luck and potentially lead, like Alabama Lass, it's less of an issue. But do you buy into that kind of commentary?
I actually don't mind favourites. I think because the way the markets are shaped, if you've got big fields, you've got to put a number against a lot of them. So you find $3 favourites, they're going to be genuinely run races. Obviously, straight races are a bit different, but you often, because a weight of numbers, I don't mind backing favourites in bigger field races because, like I said, they've got to get to 120%, or we've got to get to 100% somehow. So every horse has a price, and you often see the favourites just get out a little bit more, and they're going to be truly run races. So I don't mind backing favourites in big fields. I found this very tough. You got the straight race, you've got 18 horses down the straight, competitive race, a New Zealand horse. I found it very tough. Vestas interests me, jumped out really well, potentially drawn right part of the track in 17. Could be a really smart horse. So, Vestas is in the mix. I definitely respect what Trent is saying about the favourite there, or the New Zealander. So, not too keen to play in the race.
Yep, perfect. Well, we'll go to the headliner of the card, the Australian Cup over 2,000 metres. Like I said before, it's been a great race the last couple of years. Obviously, Cascadian Won in 2024 and 2023, but some handy winners. Jewess, Homesman, 50 Stars, Harlem won a couple of times. Gave, I think, Jamie Malham her first Group 1 back in the day. That was fantastic. I think the year before that, Michael Walker rode Harlem and it was 101 pop or something ridiculous on Betfair though, the Betfair starting price. But let's talk about the speed for this one. Also intriguing because Pride of Jenny, second up here, and Deny Knowledge, obviously the two speedsters. But what are they going to do, Trent?
Yeah, I think if Jenny wants to lead, she's the quicker horse. So I think that she will kick up from barrier 1 and just keep Deny Knowledge out. But Deny Knowledge can probably just take a trail. There's going to be a cavern of space behind Pride of Jenny and Deny Knowledge for those other horses to slot into. So it'll be interesting to see what the other horses do in behind her, how much of a head start they want to give her, how close to Deny Knowledge and in turn Pride of Jenny they are. The 3-year-old Feroce probably doesn't want to be too far away. Light Infantryman can be there as well. And then, it'll be interesting to see what Zardozi does this time as well, because she does have a little bit more speed than that, I think. And I think she gave Pride of Jenny too big of a start last time. Whether they want to really put her up on the hammer this time from a wide draw, it'll be interesting. But I think that's the way that they need to ride some of these horses to beat Pride of Jenny.
100%. And, obviously for Zardozi, this is more of the grand final than its last start. Obviously, it was a short price favourite and was firming, but this would have to be more of the grand final. Tom, how do you see this race?
Yeah, I would love, it's not going to happen, but I would love to see them take on Pride of Jenny for the speed. She's not the quickest horse out of the barriers. So barrier 1 is very awful if they actually try to ride to get her beaten. Like, Deny Knowledge could easily jump ahead and cross Pride of Jenny. I don't think they will. I think Willow will just wait for Pride of Jenny to kick up and get the suck run. But I would love, just for the theatre of racing, for the jockeys to say, stuff this. We're not letting Pride of Jenny dictate. I'm going to cross Pride of Jenny early and see what happens. See if she has to peel out and then do work, or box her in early and really make the jockey sweat on Pride of Jenny, which I think will be great for racing. I don't think it'll happen. I think Pride of Jenny will everyone will be looking for her. They'll be waiting for her to kick up and lead, and then Deny Knowledge gets the suck run. I don't like backing horses that get back a long way off leaders like Pride of Jenny, and I don't really like the horses that I think are going to get those suck runs. Like, Deny Knowledge is probably that horse. Feroce is probably that horse. They're not horses that I want to look for. I think Deny Knowledge is a better horse when controlling. And Feroce I don't think is good enough to roll Pride of Jenny. I think Middle Earth is a fascinating horse, obviously won the lead up, won it in very good fashion. I'm worried about how far off Middle Earth gets here. That's a concern. I don't want to be with Zardozi. I remember there was a Hamburger laying Zardozi and backing Pride of Jenny. So I just almost think that jockeys will just let Pride of Jenny do her thing, and she might be too good for them again.
I've heard Sam Friedman during the week saying the opposite and saying that they're not going to let Pride of Jenny with Deny Knowledge just do whatever she wants. Do you ever get confidence from those trainer comments?
Not really.
No.
Yeah. Like, that's the problem. If Sam Friedman wants Willow to ride and half cart the favourite here, then they might cook them both. So no worse spot than being outside lead when Pride of Jenny's in the race, is there?
Yeah, probably not. I just think it'll be those two will just clear out by so much that it won't really matter who else is there. They'll sit 1-2. I think Pride of Jenny, whether Deny Knowledge crosses her early, she'll just come out behind and just take her on anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing for a trainer to say that. It's a lot more difficult for a jockey to be suddenly riding hard outside their comfort zone when the barrier's open.
Imagine how much stick Willow will get.
Yeah. And the thing is that
he cops so much at the best of times, and then he wants to go and do something like that and take on Pride of Jenny.
When in reality, that's the only way to actually beat Pride of Jenny. We've seen that. You can't be just giving her too big of a head start. So I'm thinking that the only time a jockey's really going to put it to her this time is if she goes to the Queen Elizabeth, and J-Mac won't want to repeat of last year on Via Sistina. So whether they just let Pride of Jenny roll along here, and if that's the case, I thought the interesting thing first up in the Peter Young, one, she's run to the best first up rating that Racing Sports have ever had her running to. That's 123. Her peak's 129 in that Queen Elizabeth that I mentioned before, which is a world-class performance, but she's got a swag of ratings in that kind of mid-120 mark as well. But Craig Newitt actually rode her to perfection that day. And it's funny, for all that Declan Bates has done on Pride of Jenny and has done very, very well on her, he's actually a lot of the time gone too fast in front. The sections are showing that she's slowing down and stopping late, but she's just so far in front of the others that the others don't know what to do. But if she's ridden perfectly again by Craig Newitt and gets those sectionals right, and some of these horses are still giving her a start, then I'm not sure how they turn the tables on her.
Yeah,
I'm
wow.
getting more and more confident. I agree. I just think there's no chasers here.
Yeah. Zardozi was good behind her in that Peter Young. And
The
did give
firm deck again. She's a wet. She prefers the stingy out. This was my case last time against her.
Mm.
She can't pick up and make 5 lengths on Pride of Jenny on a firm deck. That's
Yeah.
my concern.
And the other thing as well, for all that Zardozi's done, she hasn't necessarily put up a Group 1 rating yet. She won the Oaks at Flemington and was a good winner of the Oaks, but not a superstar winner of the Oaks.
Yeah.
I think a lot of time-based ratings models had her going really big that day and have always had a big number on her. We're a little bit more conservative racing in sport that she was good, but not this weight for age star, and she's never really put up a weight for age rating. A Tissue is the other one that probably has put up a couple of weight for age ratings and does like Flemington. My query for A Tissue is that she's come through 2 very slowly run races, 1400 metres first up and then the All-Star Mile last start, where she's just got back and been unsuited. Is that the platform for her to now go third up to 2,000 metres in a brutally run race with Pride of Jenny and Deny Knowledge running them along? Whether she's got that platform to actually, settle midfield and get over the top of them late, I'm not so sure. So like Tom said, there might just not be any chases here.
A Tissue hasn't beaten Pride of Jenny home in the last 5 times they've met. Only in the Queen of the Turf in Sydney, where Pride of Jenny was a different horse back then.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? I'm trying really hard to bet around Pride of Jenny, but listening to Trent, it's very, very hard because he's, especially the comments about Craig Newitt controlling the sectionals. Yeah, that's a recipe for winning, to be honest. Middle Earth, I personally think is a bit of a risk in this high pressure race. So want to bet around it. And then as per the Betfair Exchange, if you're backing something that's, in double figures, you're going to get the best price. So I'm trying to find something, but yeah, I think it's going to be a very competitive race. So looking forward to it. My Hamburger, where I think I'm going to lay, I got to stick to laying Pride of Jenny. But you're really, kind of changing my mind. So we'll see. Maybe I'll change again. We're going to go to Rosehill. It's obviously Tancred Stakes Day, but we've also got the Vinery Stakes there as well. Tom, let's talk about the track now. Just take a couple of deep breaths. Woosa. We're on a soft
Therapy
5.
here,
It's going to be out 6 meters. Talk to us about the track, Tom.
Yeah, they'll be down the middle, outside fence. Last week's anything to go by. So 2 weeks ago it was outside fence. Well, not outside fence, but the middle of the track was favourite. Inside was quicksand. Then last week, the track curator forgot to water the inside 2 lanes and the fence, and that was the only place you could win unless you're a superstar. Rain around, that's the biggest issue. There's 15 to 60 mil forecast at Bomb on Saturday at Parramatta and Sydney, and if we get 60 mil, the races could be off. We could be on a heavy 10, we could be on a soft 6. I think it'll be pretty wet, and there's rain and showers forecast on Friday as well. So I think they'll be down the middle, if not outside fence, and making the day very tricky.
That makes late mail on Betfair so important, doesn't it?
100%. Great advertisement. Even last Saturday, with the way the track was playing, it was perfect advertisement for late mail. So I think John Walter laid Fangirl, and great run, probably run of the day, but off fence. You got the chocolates.
All right, well, we're going to talk about our first race here. It's the Sellwood Stakes before we head to the Group 1s. The interesting one, Tom, and I'll let you keep going, is Chairwolf. Obviously, a multiple Group 1 winner and has the class, but what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, Trent and I exchanged a few texts about this horse. Obviously had that setback, went 14 first up, back to 13 off that setback. Very interesting setup here on the backup. Had fencing run last start. Was a good run. Couldn't beat Gringotts. Fangirl was fantastic. So in that George Ryder, we had first, third and fourth all fencing run. Fangirl was enormous. Best horse in the race, clearly. Clearly the horse to beat. No issues wet. No issues 2000. On the backups, interesting. But yeah, he's got to be the one you gravitate to. It's just whether you want to take the price. I think he'll win. The danger, and potentially the only danger for me, might be Post Impressionist. I thought it was good last start when first up, 2000, the Australian Cup Prelude, back last, ran second fastest final 400 metres of that event behind the winner Middle Earth, who we're talking about in Australia Cup, and was really strong through the line. I think will be a live player in a Sydney Cup and should get through the wet okay. So yeah, that's the danger for mine. But I've got Sheerwolf clearly on top. Trent.
Yeah, I think it's still just price dependent for Chael Wolf. I think $1.70 is when you start getting involved.
Yep.
Just looking at his ratings and compared to a Neville Sellwood, the highest rated winner of the Neville Sellwood Racing Sports has run to 117. Chael Wolf's last start was 120. He's gone 118, 125, 121. Like he just wins this so more often than 50% of the time. Yeah, you got to give him a little bit of weight, but he's just so much better than these. And if the fence is off, barrier 10 is not going to be an issue at all. He just keeps them out of trouble and really should be too good for them. So, yep, he's around that $1.70 mark now. Anything better than that, and you're really starting to have a good look at him.
The Emancipation Stakes now, 1,500 metre Group 2 contest. Another one maybe set up for Lazura. Obviously a dominant winner in the Far Lap Stakes last start. Peaking at the right time. Tom, what's the speed doing here?
I just want to say this is the hardest race in the history of the world. It's impossible, this race. Fillies and Mares races are tough to start with. Then you've got potential soft 6 or heavy 10. You've got 2 internationals we have not seen at the trials. We've got no idea about them. We've got horses like Coeur Volante and Scarlet Oak backing up. No, sorry, not backing up, but Fortnight off that track where the inside fence, they were both hemmed on the inside. Barriers 1 and 2, and they just couldn't go. It was quicksand there. It's just an impossible race for me. Yeah, not keen at all to play, and I don't even care about speed. I'm just letting this one go. What time is it? 2 o'clock. I'll get a drink or something. Yeah. Fair enough. Go, Trent.
Oh, I'm pretty much the same. The 2 horses that I kind of had a look at that I thought were going to be suited getting to 1,500 metres were Clear Thinking and Harlem Queen. There's just a few knocks for me that I don't really want to take the price of either. Barrier 15 for Harlem Queen with a, I'll say a significant jockey downgrade with J-Mac off is just enough for me to stay out. I think she's come back really well though and is suited, but I'm just not sure where she gets to. And Clear Thinking again is another one that might be suited for 1,500 metres, but I'm not. Yeah, it's not a race that you want to be backing too much in. I think
not keen on the J-Mac off, Taylor Marshall on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the ROI is on that one, but I can't imagine.
Could be high.
I can't imagine it's too high.
As we said this off, it has to be double figures off just off that jockey change.
Yeah,
I know it drops in weight, but geez.
Yeah, it's enough of a negative, especially drawn barrier 15. Like even if the fence is off, it's not an easy ride. So there's enough against for me to just let that one through to the keeper. Just
on Sakti, the international hero, I did text Mick Kent Jr. And just get a bit of background. They haven't had this horse for long, so they don't know much about this horse either. Has tactical speed, Group 2, Group 3 horse overseas. I think she's a nice enough horse, but I just wonder whether they will ride it back and not forward from the barrier. So interesting one there. Hello, Betfair punters. We're excited to introduce a new feature on the Betfair app, Follow Tipsters. This feature will allow you to follow your favourite Betfair experts and receive notifications when their betting strategies go live. By clicking follow and enabling notifications, you'll never miss a tip from pros like Terry Layton, Mitch Lewis, Jackson Oldham and Bella Anderson. All exclusive in the Betfair app, so download and get started.
All right, we're going to have a little break before heading to the rest of the Group 1s on that card at Rosehill. But we're introducing a new segment and it's called Layback Lists. Now, the list can be anything. Honestly, it's going to be quirky things. It's going to be things that are topical. It's going to be things about form, horse racing. This week, given I'm on the show and I'm probably going to get the arse very quickly after this, I'm starting a new list, and it's the 5 AFL rule changes that I would change. Now, from number 5, guys.
Oh, here we go.
Scrap the sub. Let all 23 players.
How's that not number 1?
Well, it's number 5 this week, and so get ready for number 1.
Sub.
A couple of reasons on this is I hate seeing debutants as sub. I want to see more players playing, and I hate seeing players be sulky when they get subbed off or when they're waiting to come on the ground. I don't like the vibe, and I don't blame them for being sulky. That's absolutely fine with me. So scrap the sub. Let's let all the players play. Just have 5 on the bench. My next one, make it 20 meters because it's currently a guessing game. Increase the kicking distance to 20 meters. Very, very simple. I like that they're being harsh on the 15-meter rule, but why the air of ambiguity? Just make it 20 meters so that the kicks that are currently going 25 meters that you're saying are too short you're giving a little bit of room for buffer there. And the ones that go 15 metres that you're saying are marked, you can clearly say that's play on. So increase the minimum kick distance from 15 metres to 20 metres officially. Here we go. It's going to start to heat up now. Last kick equals free kick. Very simple. If the ball comes off a player's boot, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, an accident, whatever it is, it's a free kick to the other team.
And goes out.
It goes out. It doesn't need to go out of bounds on the full. It just goes out. It completely takes away the ambiguity of, and also
theatre.
The commentators just continuing to say, I don't know about that one. I don't know. It's black or white. If the ball comes off someone's boot, it's a free kick, play on. A little bit similar to that one, rushing under pressure, punish it. If you rush a behind, it should be a free kick to the other team. They should adjudicate that rule exactly the same as the insufficient intent rule. Think about a Fisher song, right? Let's take I'm
gone so far.
Honestly.
I thought this was a racing.
Let's take I'm losing it. Just before the big crescendo of I'm losing it, he's not going to start playing soft Beethoven, is he? It's the exact same thing at the crescendo when it's really exciting. A player rushes it, and it's just an absolute buzzkill. So let's get rid of that one. Change that rule. This is my final one.
Drum roll.
If it goes through, it's a goal. Post or not. I get so frustrated when we spend 10 minutes either figuring out whether it touched the post or didn't touch the post. It slows down the game. And okay, it's a goal, fine, it slows down time. It touches the post, it slows down time. Just call it a bloody goal. Like, who honestly cares if it just scrapes the post and we call it behind? We want more goals in this game. We want more momentum. Let's go. Play it on.
I don't mind that last one. I don't mind that last one. So if it hits the post and comes back in, does it play on?
I think we'll just call it then. I mean, you can call that a behind if it comes back in. If it doesn't cross the line or it gets punched away, let it go. I mean, let's test it just scraping through and going through for a goal, calling it a goal. And that's it. We'll see. But I don't mind that one for a future list, maybe in the future.
I think your order was wrong.
Okay. What would you have?
It's not a bad top five. Sub-rul's got to go. That's number one. But you should have listened to me on radio on Sunday, because I brought up that the adjudication of the 15-metre kick is different in defensive 50 than it is in forward 50, and it annoys the hell out of me.
It annoys me so much. Yeah.
You just get it
and
right.
That's exactly where you want to be punishing the short kick.
That was in the lay-in on Sunday.
You want the pressure. I don't know. I don't understand what the deal is. If you want goals and you want the pressure and you want the entertainment, then why are we servicing going against the pressure? Yep. And we're letting, the game slow down and marks be had and rush behinds. Let's let it go. Yep. Happy with that, boys?
Not bad. Not a bad start.
Yeah,
good warm-up.
Yeah. I'm ready for next week.
I'm doing bucket lists at some point. Bucket list race courses and racing events.
Well, on that, if you've got any lists that you want us to talk about, please send them in. Get Tom angry too. I just love it when Tom gets angry.
It's not hard.
All right, we're going to go to the first Group 1 at Rosehill. We're going to talk about the Group 1 Vinery Stud Stakes. It's over 2,000 metres. Treasure the moment. Likely to lead here, Tom. Is that correct?
Yeah, speed's very interesting because there isn't much of it, and all these horses are up to 2,000 metres. So something could happen a little bit different, which should be which would be interesting. Treasure at the moment might just lead out of default, but there's a few others that can kick up without surprising. So I don't know how you saw the map there.
Yeah, maybe Canny Queen from the inside kicks up as well.
Yeah,
but Treasure at the moment could lead if she wants to and just almost make a good thing of it.
Yep.
All right. Well, Treasure of the Moment looks like it's the clear standout favourite, and it probably should be a dominant filly. Obviously, 7 wins from 9 starts. Is that where you're immediately going to look in this race, Tom?
Yeah, I had her marked $1 last start, and she won. So a biggest fan. She's a very good horse. She should win, but do I want to take $1.55? Currently at fixed odds for a horse, first time potentially on a heavy track, first time Sydney direction? Probably not. There's enough queries. She was $1.80 against a worse field last start when she opened and ended up the same price. Clearly on top. Hopefully she leads. Damien Lane puts the race to bed. She'll be mighty hard to run down. We have exotics at Betfair, and I might play the exotic, a little Cornella here with number 7, she is, Verona Rose. I think she might be the Quinella horse. She's 3 from 3. Her last start at Kembla was fantastic, Trent. She ran the 4th fastest final 400 metres of the day there. She ran 11:22 final 200 metres, which was the 2nd fastest of the day. That was only bettered by a 1,200 metre race, and that was all over a mile. For a 3-year-old filly to do that, she savaged the line, looks an out-and-out 2,000 metre horse, and I think she can run well in an Oaks. I don't know if Treasure of the Moment's going there, but clear danger. I could back her to place or the Quinella with Treasure of the Moment.
Yeah, I did like that win of Verona Rose at Kembla, and the time figure was good there, and the splits late were good as well. Treasure of the Moment, the one thing for me with Treasure of the Moment is that last start she finally ran a good time. She's been running solid ratings and good ratings and winning easily. Last start she really found a strongly run race and just excelled again. Yep. Whereas before she was winning off these slow tempos, even if in the Wakeful and the Oaks down in Melbourne, she was getting these slotting in 1-1 and off these slow tempos and just having the best turn of foot. Last start, Flemington found a strongly run race, and it was never really a query. I didn't think she wouldn't handle it, but she hadn't ticked that box yet. Now she has, so I can understand why she's very short. I thought maybe the improver might be Powers of Opal, who I was keen on in both the Wakeful and the Oaks during the spring, and I just think that she got too far back off those slowly run tempos in Melbourne. The same things sort of happened in 2 runs this preparation, where she's just found these sit-and sprints from over 1,400 and 1,500 metres and hasn't been suited at all. 2,000 metres wet track I think will suit her better. But again, if there's no tempo here and they go back from barrier 8, then it might be a similar story. But I think she can be a big improver. And you just look at some of those SPs against Treasure of the Moment in the spring as well. She was starting shorter than her on both occasions, and now she's 20-1. So yeah, I think she could be an improver and maybe a place chance 1 by 3 or something like that.
I think Declesia Boulevard's the weak link of the market. I got it priced much longer. 1,500 metres off a slow tempo up to 2,000 metres. I know she's a winner on the wet, so she ticks that box. But J-Mac off for the stablemat, who's now 2nd up with a lot more improvement, and I think a better suited to 2,000. I think she will turn the tables moving out. So, yeah, I can't have Declesia Boulevard. That's my lay in the race.
Okay, this has turned into a really interesting conversation because, Tom, you've noted $1.55 is incredibly short for her when we don't know how she's going to handle the track. And then the other thing is that she's tackling the Sydney way of going for the first time. We've come up with a couple of theories as to potentially lay. So could laying be the option given you put a small liability up and potentially get a good return?
Nah, she's too good. I'm her biggest fan, so I'm not going to lay her. I would rather lay Declesia Boulevard place or something like that, or back Verona Rose to place. I've got her mark short. There's just enough queries to not dive in at such a short price.
Yep, fair enough. Okay, let's go to the Group 3 Kingdom Stakes. Tom, do you want to talk to us about the speed in this one?
Yeah, Star Kingdom. Fascinating 1,200 metre race. There's a bit of speed in Coal Crusher, Mizzou, a few others down the bottom as well that can kick up. You've got Espionage down there as well. Should be a truly run race, but how horses handle the conditions if we do get to a heavy track is key to the speed as well. I found this a very hard race, Trent. Mizzou can't win, never wins, but he'll have support if it's a wet track. You've got Coal Crusher, who's 4 from 8 on a heavy track as well. With a bit of tactical speed, might be hard to run down. Uncommon James was enormous last week. That was one of the runs of the day. Off fence, ran 3rd in a hot galaxy. Everyone's talking about not Ostraka, Briasa, and the winner there being genuine A-grade horses. The second horse was on the fence in run. This horse wasn't on fence and was enormous. Wet tracks, a huge concern for me. I love Felix Majestic as well. If this was a dry track, I would have something Felix Majestic, but a huge query on the wet. So just an impossible race for me to dissect at this stage, Trent.
Yeah, I thought Coal Crusher could be a big improver here. I thought he was okay first up 1,100 metres on a dry track. I don't think 1,100 metres is his go. And to be honest, 1,200 metres is probably just on the short side as well. I think 13-14's his go when he can really control the race and run along. So maybe I'm going off one too short here, but I thought he did enough there and gets back down to the level weights here. He carried 61 last start. He's got some peak ratings that really go well in this. Like that, I think he ran 2nd to Briasa in that Hunter at Newcastle last time. He's won that race before. So if he improves off that, and like you said, a heavy deck for him, and really make it a real testing 1200 where they have to pick up and they're going to be running it in a minute 12 or something like that, then that's really going to suit him, because I think he's got that stamina and can sit on speed. So yeah, he's the one that interests me. The other one I kind of looked at just from a ratings point of view is that Felix Majestic looks very well in off his first up run. We were speaking off air before that a wet track for him is a huge issue. He's one placing from 7 goes on a rain affected track. He's clearly a dry tracker. I don't really buy into that too much, but it's it's quite obvious with this horse that he doesn't want it too wet. So yeah, I liked his run first up. We missed the start and got back. He can settle closer to the speed and gets in well up the weights as well. But if it does get heavy, they might end up scratching. So you might not be any risk at all. But Coal Crusher, the main one for me.
I tipped Felix on the show last run each way, and he lobbed 4th. It's pretty standard.
Of course. All right, let's go to the Group 1 Tancred Stakes here. 2,400 metres. Some great winners in the past of this one. Very Elegant, Sir Dragon Jewess again. We mentioned her earlier, obviously retired now, but Very Elegant. Gee, she would be ready for this if it got nice and heavy. What price do you reckon she would start in this field?
280.
Yeah, she wouldn't be that short. There's some pretty good horses in this thing. Gibayona's come over here and run some pretty good races. So.
Yep. What are we doing with the speed here, Tom?
Yeah, I don't know how Trent sees it. It doesn't look clear cut. Conditions again may play a part in the speed. Duke Ducess will kick up from 2. Land Legend can work across from a wide barrier. You've got Arapaho handy. And Circle of Fire tries to slot in from a bit of a tricky barrier. Anything to add on the speed there, Trent?
No, I'll leave that to you. That looks about right to me. I think Duke Ducess can probably lead if he wants to.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I had.
Dubai Honor, obviously the class runner, comes back to Australia. Is that the horse that you're having on top, Tom?
Yes, yeah, with Dubai Honor. Again, a tricky race, but I'm keen to play. At least, Dubai Honor has turned up in Australia and won. He's got William Haggis training, who's a genius. He's a very good horse. He returns recently with some great runs. The Hong Kong Vase run was fantastic. He's fresh here. Gets through the wet, no issue whatsoever. So he's the obvious, and I think he's the most likely horse to win. So I can see why he's marked favourite, and I can see why horses and punters gravitate to him, because he's done it here. He's beaten our best as well. He's world class. He's travelled around the world and performed well. So he's clearly on top. I'm against Vauban here. I really liked Vauban in the Sky High until Trent and Liam talked me into the worst horse in the country in Lindemann. Yeah, so big drifter first up, which was interesting. Vauban hit a massive price advantage on Betfair as well. $9, I think, corporates, and about $11.50 Betfair starting price. Just kept drifting. It was a great price advantage and a good win. Wet track. I know he's done some things overseas on wet tracks, Trent, but his Melbourne Cup run on that shifty ground was awful when he was favourite, and they blame the track there. So that's a query. Yeah, I've got him as the lay in the race for Ben. And then you've got a horse like River of Stars, who scares the shit out of me. James McDonald on board. Yeah, first up, no public trials. Don't know what you make of that, what your ratings say about horses like River of Stars. But Dubai on top, Trent. I think Arapaho is the best of the locals. Can turn the tables on Vauban on a wet track.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Vauban, yeah, some of his runs on rain-affected going, a lot of them are over the jumps, which are a little bit hard to get a gauge on.
What does that mean?
Well, they just run at so much slower tempos, and the thing is, you don't need to show a turn of foot a lot of the time, which he actually does have on a dry deck, which we saw last start. The one run that I would point you to is a win at Nars in Ireland, Group 3 Ballyroan Stakes. He beat Valiant King that day, gave him 5 kilos as well. The ground that day was quite wet. Just looking at the kind of the going stick figures that we've got for racing and sports, it was rain affected, a genuine probably soft 7-ish sort of track if I were to convert that over. And he won that well with 61 kilos. So that's some guide, I think. But I think Dubai probably has the ratings to beat him. He's running as well as ever. I thought the win a few back at St. Cloud in France, the Grand Prix de St. Cloud there, won that well, ran to 123. His 2 best ratings were over here. He went 125 when he was beating Animo, but he's pretty consistent, has done it all over the globe. So, yeah, and handles a wet track. So I think he's probably the horse to beat. I thought Duke de Sessa was maybe a little bit too big. Really good return. First up, ran a good rating, and then second up again just behind Middle Earth. Had no luck there. I don't think a slowly run race getting held up behind runners was his go. The Caulfield Cup win, he probably got the right run there, but he still posted a really strong rating. He's gone 121 that day, which is, you know, kind of what I've got the winning standard for this race to be. Wet track's a big tick for him, and he's probably going to lead. So there's plenty to like about him. Arapahoe's going well. I thought the other one that interests me of the internationals was Zaria. I'm surprised that J-Mac had his choice and chose to ride River of Stars. We've got Zaria rated quite a bit higher of the pair. I thought it was interesting as well, a few starts ago, Zaria started a lot shorter to beat Dubai Honor. Didn't work out that day, but I thought that was interesting that he started $3.10 and Dubai Honor was $5, $6 or something on that day. So there's definitely a little bit of a line that you can take there through Dubai Honor in that market this time, whereas this time Zaria's, 20-1 and Dubai Honor's $3 favourite. So
that's a great point. You almost have to have something on Zaria if you like Dubai Honor with that SP profile.
Yeah, I think you do. And the ratings that Zaria's got are, around that 121 mark as well, which are bang on what I think the race is going to be won at. So, there's a few knocks that we've seen Dubai Honor come out here and perform well. Zaria we haven't, but I think the price is big enough. So I think Dubai Honor is the one to beat. I don't think there's any value in that price at this stage. Vauban, I think, is probably a little bit too short as well, but scared of him again. I think Duke de Sessa and Zaria are the two that I will be playing at bigger odds.
Great analysis, team. That's the all the Group 1 analysis for across the couple of tracks that we're looked at today. The last race before we go into Hamburger and best bets is going to be the Racing and Sports Doncaster Prelude.
Not going up?
No, not going up actually. Yeah, maybe we need to slot to the actual Donny in a couple of weeks or next week or whatever, and then
get
maybe
a table at the Chairman's Lounge or something like that.
We'll have to do that for the Group 1s
for
only.
us.
Well, kick us
Valued
off, Trent.
clients. Yeah.
Kick us off anyway, Trent. Do you want to talk about the speed for this one?
To be honest, I haven't done a whole lot of look on the speed, so Tom might be the better person to touch on. But horses like Just Focal roll forward. Willado has good speed. It probably rolls forward from out wide. New Endeavour got back first up at Rosehill. Now drawn barrier 1 could be a lot closer. But this big field and a golden ticket into the Donny, I think they'll run it at a pretty strong tempo.
Yeah, there does look good speed. Sabark, Just Folk, Winter Silver is a leader with the lightweight. You got Sandpaper, Redina, New Endeavour slotting in, and then you got a horse like Williamsburg who can lead and shown a bit more speed of late, drawn really wide, so and gets through the wet. So yeah, plenty of speed, plenty of pressure here.
All right, Tom, why don't you kick us off with what you're doing in the race?
I'm probably not doing anything, to be fair. This is a real... I need to do a bit more work in this race, if I'm honest. The track conditions are going to be vital here. Massive field. I don't really like much. New Endeavour, I was kind of half keen on first up. Amenable's not one of mine. I know you're pretty keen on him. Very trappy race. I got Willowdale marked favourite, but I'm not diving in yet.
Yeah, I am keen on an Amenable. I've got him marked favourite in my market. I thought he was really good first up in that race at Newcastle. Was only beaten ahead by Sandpaper that day, came from a long way back. I thought the splits said that he was the better horse on the day, meets that horse better at the weights. He's a pretty consistent kind of horse in his ratings. While he hasn't done a lot of winning, he's been pitched up in some pretty strong races and run very well. And at a level that wins or is very competitive again here. Wet track for him is no issue at all. His peak rating came when second to Magic Time in an all-age stakes, and that was one of the heaviest tracks I've ever seen. I think they ended up calling off the races after that race. It was when I was talking about the track that Vauban was rated on before, the going there was 135, which is a heavy range. This was like 180 or something like that. Was how much slower it was running.
Tell you what, if it was on Tuesday at Orange, it would have been called off.
Oh, it would have been called off days before.
Group 1s though, safety's different in Group 1s.
Yeah, but yeah, second up here, I think he gets a nice draw as well. Drawn barrier 7, he's probably just going to get a lovely run, kind of 3 back, 1 off the fence there. And I think he's got the ratings to really put a hole in this race if he wants to. So yeah, I'm pretty keen on him actually. I thought he should be $4 or so. I thought he was a good bet.
Just needs another win, yeah.
He does need another win, but I think this is the best shot that he's going to get.
Well, you're getting 580 for him and probably going to get the best price there on the exchange late. And yeah, for all the same reasons, I completely agree with you. And he's just going to be better suited stepping up. And I'm keen to be with you there. Trent, that's all the race coverage that we've got for today. But now we're going to go to the Hamburger. And as much as I'm absolutely delighted for Clance and Trent, who have now are on the Hamburger Club Hall of Fame list, I'm the only one that's not on there. Clance backed Chenois at 290 and laid Emphasize last week. Trent, you spoke about it before, back broadsiding, laid Swifticon. Tom, you've done it twice, and I'm just having a bit of an existential crisis. I don't even know what I'm doing this week. So I'm going to throw to you, Tom. What's your Hamburger this week?
Can I just say, I'm just looking at last week's show. They both backed favourites and laid second or third favourites. Let's go the other way around, Trent. Come on, lay a favourite and back something to beat it. That's what I want.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That's what I want to see. Come on. I know I was soft first up, but second up we got the job done. I kind of want to make my Hamburger due by honour and lay Vauban, but I'm almost leaning to, and I'm probably going to do this. Let's lay Zardozi again and back Pride of Jenny. Same Hamburger as last time.
So you're telling us off for back in the favourite and laying the second favourite. So you're back in the $3 favourite and laying something at nines. Correct.
I've found it an impossible day, to be fair. Nothing I'm keen on.
Fair enough. I'm going to go for my Hamburger back to Flemington. I'm going to go to race 5, a race we didn't touch on. And they are pretty close in the market. Still backing the favourite, but that's Enzuto, number 10. Really like this horse. He's won his last 3 in a row. Posted some good ratings in the process. Last start, he dropped back to 1,400 metres, and that was always going to be the query. But he found a race with good tempo and was too strong again late for Kappa 39. That horse was running off for second to Is It Me, who's flying at the moment. I think that form was really strong. I'm going to be backing him. I think he's the best of the day at Flemington. And the lay is going to be Helsing, who comes through the same race. Last start, Enzuto started $4.50 favourite or thereabouts in that race. Helsing was $31. Helsing was good from the back, and they now meet on level weights. He gave him a little bit of weight there. But I can't have him now only a few cents away in the market when he was $31 last start, and I think Enzuto was less suited, dropping back in distance. Now gets back up to a mile. So I think, Enzuto should be a lot shorter than a horse like Helsing off that last start SP in the scenario that they had that day. So backing Enzuto, laying Helsing, race 5, Flemington.
Perfect, guys. Well, I came into the show wanting to lay Pride of Jenny and tried to decide between Deny Knowledge and Middle Earth here. I'm just a little bit worried about the pressure of the race. Leaving Middle Earth unstuck. I want to see Deny Knowledge take it to Pride of Jenny. I just can't find anything else. It's not that I don't necessarily like Pride of Jenny, but she's the favourite in the race. And as per Hamburger, I want to lay favourite. I want to back something at big odds. And I think with Deny Knowledge, especially on the exchange, you're going to get some really handy odds. Will potentially drift while Pride of Jenny firms on the day. So that is my Hamburger. Best bets, guys. Trent, you want to go first?
Yeah, Flemington race 5, Enzuto, and Rosehill race 9, the Racing Sports Doncaster Prelude. I really think Amenable's set up to run a big race. He's going to be the best of the day in Sydney.
Very tough for me. I just think a few that are under the odds. So I'm laying those through the Canberra Cup in the Neville Sellwood. There was a few unlucky runners there. So that's Palmetto, Redstone, Well, Gear Up. I think they're under the odds. I think Cherwolf will win and Post Impression is the value. I do think Declesia Boulevard is under the odds in the Vinery Stud. I think she's the weak link. And I think Vauban's under the odds in the Tancred. So a couple of lays there for me that I'm keen to focus on, but very, very tough day. And a great advertisement for our late mail, Karl.
Well, I was actually going to bring that up, guys, because it's obviously...
That's good segue stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was actually going to bring that up. Perfect, because it is absolutely potential disastrous conditions on Saturday at Rosehill. Safe to say that Tom's going to get his bets in as late as possible as he assesses what he thinks the track will do, bias, rail, weather conditions and everything. So
inside fence could be off too. Inside barriers, we might be looking for wider barriers. So yeah, it's things like that.
So we've done a really good job at previewing the race of potentially what we think with predictions, but the actual betting strategies, if you want to get them, you have to follow Tom, Trent, Liam, and all our late mail contributors on the Betfair app. Make sure you set your notifications and you'll get an alert when then tips have come in, but they're going to make sure that they assess everything. They're in absolutely fine form at the moment. So you would best be following them and seeing who they're tipping on the weekend. Another fantastic show, guys. I'm looking
Thanks,
forward to
mate.
another massive week of racing. It's good to have you back, Tom. Good to do a show together. I'll probably make way next week, but yeah, hopefully I haven't left you guys with trauma with my AFL list.
We'll come up with a better list next week, Trent.
Sounds good.
We're going to task you with one coming up.
Yeah.
Have a think about what you want to do.
Ratings.
Ratings.
Related. That's fine. I can do that. That's fine.
Perfect, guys. For all the punters out there, follow Late Mail, Layback with Betfair, all the amazing Betfair products, and we'll see you next week.
Stay ahead of the game with the most up-to-date betting insights, track conditions and bias, scratchings, late market moves, and more. When it comes to betting, having the most up-to-date information can make all the difference. That's why we've introduced Betfair's Late Mail, the most informed tipping service on the market. Delivered by pros like John Walter, Glenn Ingram, Sean Byrne, and Bella Anderson, Late Mail provides expert insights closer to the jump, helping you adjust your strategy with the latest information and data at your fingertips. Late Mail is exclusive in the Betfair app, so simply open the app, follow Late Mail tipsters, and enable notifications to be ready when our pros send in their late bets. Stay informed, stay ahead, bet smarter with Late Mail.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.